Hello, it is Throwback Thursday, April 29th, 2021. Steve Cypress here, and I am throwing it back about 80 years to the start of World War II. Why? Because it was highly recommended to me to watch a film called Finding Manny, M-A-N-N-Y, Finding Manny. And so my beautiful wife, Michelle, and I watched it last night. It is entered in this year's Miami Film Festival, which is ending today. And we just found out about it yesterday. I'm letting you know about it today, but you can watch it for free. Do a search in a search engine for Finding Manny, and when you find the Miami Film Festival site, you can watch it for free, but I think only until today, and you can vote on it to win an award at that film festival. Now, afterwards, I'd have to believe this thing's going up on YouTube or Netflix or Amazon or somewhere or whatever. I mean, it's a little less than an hour, 57 minutes. Really well done. Tells the story of a Holocaust survivor. The star of the film, Manny, who was 11 years old at the start of the war, saw his whole family in Poland, taken in by Hitler's Nazis and, pretty much killed off one by one in all kinds of gruesome ways. And he survived. I won't give any more away than that, but he is currently 93 years old. This film was filmed a few years ago when someone convinced him, Holocaust historian from Germany, convinced him to go over there and make a trip. Now, in my lifetime as a kid, growing up in New York, I remember knew a bunch of Holocaust survivors. They had the number tattooed on their wrist, but they would never say a word about the Holocaust. Most Holocaust survivors never say a word, and that's how this guy Manny was. His grandkids, his kids, he had never said anything about it. I mean, it kept all that horror just bottled up deep inside. And even, I'll give away a little bit about the thing, he even said no the first time he was invited to go over there and speak to the kids in the school where he actually, once he came out of the war, it's the orphanage he went into, it's now a school, and they asked him to come speak, and he was like, no, because I understood 100%. These Holocaust survivors, they just won't say a word. They don't want to mention it. They don't want to think about it. It's absolutely horrible memory. And but he went over there and he did. And one thing struck me in the film was one of these, I think it was a historian in Germany, who said the Holocaust is the most well-documented genocide in history. And it made me think about the fact that there is such a thing as Holocaust denial. People actually deny it ever happened. There's just amazing amounts of evidence. I mean, some of these concentration camps still standing, and all the photos of the bodies piled up, and there's still the trains still existing, the death trains that the people were put on, and wow. There's still people not only deny it, but there's other people. I found a survey online while I was looking up, just trying to find the movie, Finding Manny. I came to a website. Apparently, there was a survey done at the end of last year, September last year, the first ever. I printed this thing out. It's the first ever nationwide survey, the first ever 50-state survey in the U.S. of Holocaust knowledge among millennials and Gen Z, so age 18 to 39, and the quote is, it was horrifying and worrying the lack of basic Holocaust knowledge among adults in the U.S. age less than 40, so 18 to 39. So just some of the stats that are just amazing to me. We're not even talking the ridiculous deniers that just must have some kind of mental condition or whatever. We're talking about just, they don't know. I mean, I understand they teach in school, there's 42,000 genders and what's your pronouns, and, everyone's racist and, all kinds of BS. Meanwhile, while we're falling behind the whole world in important subjects like science and math and all that stuff, and apparently having a lack of knowledge about the Holocaust, again, termed in Europe as the most well-documented genocide of all time. And yet, check this out. So 1 out of 10 of those surveyed, this is 11,000 adults, 18 to 39, were surveyed about the Holocaust. 1 out of 10 did not recall ever having heard the word Holocaust before. We're not even talking about a lack of knowledge. We're talking about never heard of it. You want lack of knowledge? Obviously, it happened in World War II, right? Hitler, the Nazis, World War II. Well, 22% of people thought it happened in World War I. 10% just weren't sure. 5% said the Civil War, and 3% said it was during the Vietnam War. Just amazing lack of knowledge, but it gets worse. 63% of the people surveyed did not know that 6 million Jews were murdered in the Holocaust, and over half of them thought the death toll was under 2 million. 2 out of 3 Jews in Europe were exterminated by the Nazis in the Holocaust. And yet, in this poll, 63% of adults under the age of 40 in the U.S. but didn't know it was 6 million, and over half thought it was less than 2 million. There were over 40,000, I didn't even know this, saw it in the documentary, there were over 40,000 concentration camps and ghettos established. Ghettos means they cleared all the non-Jews out of a certain area, and then they put all the Jews, no matter where they did live, affluent, anything, they stuffed them all into the ghetto. The overcrowding, they then did not send in enough food, so people starved to death, all kinds of stuff. There were over 40,000 of these concentration camps and ghettos established during World War II. Nearly half of the adult U.S. respondents to this survey could not name a single one. Could not name one concentration camp. There are many that are, we'd say famous, but the proper word is notorious. And still standing today. A couple of them, I think 2 or 3 were shown in the movie as memorials to this atrocity. And I don't think I'm giving away much, but you see all the emotion coming on as Manny himself, and he took his family there, they visit these concentration camps. The emotion just comes pouring out, I can't even imagine. 10% of respondents denied that the Holocaust happened. 10% of Americans aged 30 to 9 out of the 11,000 surveyed, over 1,000 of them, 10% denied the Holocaust happened. 7% said they weren't sure. And 3%, 10% believed, 90% believed it happened. 7% not sure, 3% denied. So it wasn't 10% denial, it was 3% denied it happened, 7%, not sure. I would think that those 7% of adult Americans age 18 to 39 that responded to this survey and said they weren't sure if the Holocaust existed, most likely, almost all of them, if not all of them, own at least one cell phone. So instead of spending all day tweeting and Facebooking and text messaging and whatever they do with their cell phones, and taking selfies and whatever, you'd think they could take 2 seconds to type in Holocaust and look up videos, images, just the evidence is obviously, of course, overwhelming, and yet they're not sure if it existed. One of the most disturbing revelations, according to this article, the survey noted, is that 11% of respondents believe the Jews caused the Holocaust. I got to say that one again. 11% of people so clueless about the Holocaust that they think the Jews caused the Holocaust. So at least they associate the Holocaust with Jews, not with the near extermination of every Jew off the face of the earth, but 11% believe the Jews caused it. And this is really bad. In New York, the state in the U.S. with by far the largest Jewish population, there are more Jews in New York City than in any other city in the world. 19% of New York adults surveyed believe the Jews caused the Holocaust. And there's plenty more where that came from. Phenomenal. Okay, I urge you, especially if anyone in your family or any of these 18 to 39 that are clueless, It's only 57 minutes. Find the documentary Finding Manny. Really well done. There's really no fluff in there. It is a poignant story, but it is also a very informative historical documentary. And I think it really just gets you. You see the horrifying lengths to which evil human beings will go to do harm to their fellow human beings. And it made me think, in fact, the grandkids said it in the movie. This Manny's, the survivor's grandkids said, you know, no wonder whenever we tell him about our day at school or what's bothering us, it was something like, well, no matter whatever we tell him, something bothers us, it never bothers him, or nothing ever bothers him. And when we tell him what happened in school and something, you know, I can only imagine, oh, they used the wrong gender, and they microaggressioned me, and this. You could just imagine this guy, Manny, nicest guy in the world. So, not him, but you could imagine a lesser person just shaking their head, just going, "You really, kids? Really? That's what bothers you?" Because kids 18 to 39 today are microaggressed and deranged and triggered by everything. Watch Finding Manny and see what this guy went through, him and his whole family. And think again when you decide to be triggered by something, or offended, or outraged. Oh, Trump made a nasty tweet. Oh, Biden is senile. Oh, whatever. Anyway, that'll do it for Throwback Thursday. I'll be back again tomorrow. You know, I'm sure I could pull out some business building type of tip for today, but let's just leave it at that. I'll be back with some foundational business building tip tomorrow on Foundation Friday. Catch you then. Enjoying the end of a beautiful day here. I don't know if you usually can't catch most of the colors in the sunset and the iPhone. Hopefully it's fantastic wherever you are as well. Catch you tomorrow. Thanks for being here today. Over and out.